Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita shloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, text 7. You're going to recite, Rasapriya?
Vamsa Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasasthani
Manaha Shashtanindriyani
Manasasthanindriyani Prakriti Sani Karsati. Translation. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamaivaṁsha jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha manashasthāndriyāni prakriti-sthāni karshati. Translation. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmentary parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Mataji, others are not here.
Okay. Achyut Priya Arundhati Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Achyut Priya Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Saraswati.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
ममैवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातनः मनसुस्तानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. Translation The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And recite also Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, text 7. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha manah shasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling with the 6 senses, which include the mind. They're struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. Anyone else? Hmm? Hmm. Okay, so let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Radhe Shravani Mataji, you can recite the verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
ममैवांस जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. Translation: The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind.
Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so everyone has recited, right? Let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, The Prayers of the Demigods to Lord Krishna in the Womb. Prayers. Prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. Okay. So, Yogamaya, after getting the orders from Krishna, immediately came and began to execute the order. So, what did Yogamaya do? First of all, she pulled Lord Balaram from Devaki's womb and placed in Rohini's womb. Now, everyone in the palace of Kamsa, they began to lament for Devaki. So they were saying, lamenting loudly, alas, Devaki has lost her child. Then even Kamsa was kind of feeling compassionate for Devaki, but everyone else was thinking maybe Kamsa gave some kind of drug or maybe chanted some mantra, to cause the miscarriage of Devaki. Anyway, there was no baby now. Then, thus, yeah, we also read after this. So now Devaki's womb is ready for Krishna to come because Lord Balaram appeared there. So he made all the arrangements, and now Lord Balaram is once again moved back to Rohini's womb, and now the place is ready for Krishna to come. So Krishna, here he is called Vishvatma. Vishvatma means one who gives, one who is the object of love for all living entities, one who gives Yeah, the only lovable object for everyone. So that's what we discussed yesterday. The lovable object, the only lovable object for everyone. So that Vishvatma, Krishna, he entered into the mind of Vasudeva in full opulence. Okay, so Manaha entered into the mind of Vasudeva. And also Abhayankara, that means for Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha, that means one who gives fearlessness to his devotees. That Lord Vishvatma, who is the only object of love for all living entities and who makes his devotees fearless, Amsha Bhagena means, what did we see? Along with his amshas and his potencies. How to understand that according to Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur? Amsha Bhagena means uh, Krishna is eternally residing in Mathura. Now all his amshas came and entered him, and all the potencies, and then he entered. Now with all his potencies and his amshas, all the avatars, amshas, expansions, he entered into the mind of Vasudeva. And also one more point here, Krishna's entering into the mind also signifies that Krishna didn't take birth like an ordinary child, where the seed is placed by the father into the womb of the mother. It didn't happen like that. There was no seminal, transfer. And by the way, Vasudeva and Devaki's bodies are not material either. They are completely transcendental. Krishna is completely transcendental. So it's not like ordinary, human child's conception. Vasudeva entered the mind of, Krishna entered the mind of Vasudeva. Then we also saw, according to the opinion of Sridhar Swami and Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur, yeah, there was no need of a discharge of semen. And according to Sanatan Goswami, how did Krishna enter Vasudeva's mind? In the form of consciousness. And same, Srila Veera Raghavacharya also has the same opinion, that Vasudeva is none other than an expansion of one of the demigods, and Krishna appeared in the heart or in the mind of Vasudeva in the form of consciousness, right? Like awakening of consciousness, like that. So now let's see. So Krishna entered the mind. Next verse. Sabibhrat paurusham dhama bhrajamano yatha ravihi durasado tidurdharsho bhutanam sambhabhuvaha. Achyut Priya Mataji.
While carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, Vasudeva bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, and thus he became as bright as the sun. He was therefore very difficult to see or approach through sensory perception. Indeed, he was unapproachable and unperceivable even for such forbidden men as Kamsa, and not only for Kamsa, but for all living entities. Thank you, Mataji. Krishna.
While carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, Vasudeva bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence. So, and thus he became as bright as the sun. He was therefore very difficult to see or approach through sensory perception. Indeed, he was unapproachable and unperceivable even for such formidable men as Kamsa, and not only for Kamsa, but for all living entities. Okay. Sa bibhrat paurusham dhama. Bibhrat, that means carried. Paurusham means the Supreme Person. Dhama. Bhrajamano yatha ravihi, like the sun, who was shining like the sun. Durasado tidurdharsho bhutanam sambha bhuvaha. Okay. Purport. So, Rasapriya. Purport.
The word dharma is significant. Dham refers to the place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the beginning of Bhagavatam 1.1.1, it is said, in the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no influence of material energy. Any place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present by His name, form, Devaki is unapproachable. His enemies are simply struck by one day, and explained by the word. The rest of the
Vidurdharshaha. You just read 2 lines.
The word stems from Kam.
Paurusham Dhama.
Kama.
Veera Raghava Acharya. Vijayadhwaja. Bhagavat Swarupa. Okay. No. Were you able to hear Rasapriya? Did you all hear?
No, Mata, it's breaking in between.
Okay, I'll just read again. She read it already. The word dha, okay. As I go, I'll read again. So while carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, so one thing is he's carrying the form. So while Sabibrat Paurusham Dhama. Dhama means what? Abode, right? Abode where the Lord resides. So Sabibrat is carrying Paurusham Dhama. Of course, Dharma has several meanings. That's we saw so many. In the last paragraph, we'll see different acharyas have given different meanings for Dharma. Anyway, so while carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, Vasudeva bore. That means he's holding the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, or he's emanating the transcendental effulgence of the Lord, because Vasudeva was carrying the Supreme Lord within the core of his heart, and the Lord is all effulgent. So from Vasudeva, this effulgence was being manifested, just like the effulgence of the bright sun. It was so effulgent that it was very difficult to even look at him with ordinary eyes. He was unapproachable and unperceivable even for such formidable men as Kamsa. Kamsa was so powerful, he was able to control big demons. He had defeated all these demons, and that's why they all had become his servants. So he was a very formidable, powerful person. But even for Kamsa, it was difficult to approach Vasudeva when Vasudeva was carrying Krishna within his heart. Of course, not just Kamsa, but for all living entities. Nobody was even able to look at Krishna. Okay. So the word dharma is being explained here. Dharma refers to, normally you say dharma means that place where the Lord resides, his abode, like Vrindavan Dham, Mathura Dham, right? Navadvip Dham, Golok Dham, like that. Mathura Dham. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Dhamna. That means he shines. Svena means shines. Where does he shine? In his own Dhamma. And that, what is the qualification of that Dhamma? Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Kuhakam means darkness. Nirasta means it's it is without, right? It is always free from darkness. There is no darkness in the Lord's abode. Why? It's effulgence, it's transcendental, right? So, and the Lord's, and what is that effulgence? That effulgence is actually emanating from the Lord. So, Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Any place where the Supreme Lord is present, and not just in his form, right? Because he's absolute truth, his name, form, qualities, pastimes, they're all the same. That is why when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna is actually personally present. As much as he's physically present, as he's present as deity, or he's present as his name. And even when we discuss his pastimes, his qualities from Srimad Bhagavatam, his words from Bhagavad Gita, he's actually present. So whenever the Lord is present, either in his form like Archa Vigraha, or in the as his name, or his qualities and pastimes, then that place where he is present, it's called Dham. Srila Prabhupada said all his temples, all his centers, ISKCON centers are non-different from Golok Vrindavan. Why? Because in all his centers, the Lord is present or not? He's present, right? That's why so many people are coming to take darshan. So wherever the Lord is present, either in his name or form or qualities or pastimes, that place is called Dharma. So like Vrindavan Dham, Dwarka Dham, Mathura Dham. We also saw that in these places Krishna is eternally present. Mathura, when we were reading about Mathura, he is eternally present. And he is there eternally. Of course, there is manifest and unmanifest form. 5,000 years ago he was manifest. Now he is not manifest, but still the temples are there, his deities are there, his devotees are there worshipping him. They're singing his pastimes, his glories, his qualities, his names. So he's still present. More than anywhere else, in his Dharma, you will find, always, he is present in the form of his name, qualities, pastimes, his fame, and of course his form also as deity. So, not only in a particular place, the Lord can also enter into the core of the heart of a devotee, and that heart also becomes Dharma, because the Lord is present there, just like he's present in Vrindavan, just like he's present on the altar in the temple. If he's present in the heart, if he enters into the heart of a devotee, then that heart also is Dharma, because the Lord is present there. And that person in whose heart the Lord is residing, that person becomes extraordinarily powerful, because the Lord is extraordinarily powerful. And when the Lord is extraordinarily powerful, and when the devotee is holding the Lord in his heart, then the devotee also becomes extraordinarily powerful. You remember Dhruva Maharaj's history when we were reading in the 4th canto. Dhruva Maharaj was meditating on the Supreme Lord and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And then he closed his eyes, he stopped his breath, So all his holes were closed completely, and he's holding the Lord in his heart. He stopped breathing. So because of his devotion, the Lord manifested in the heart, entered into the heart of Dhruva Maharaj, and Dhruva Maharaj stopped breathing. And because he's the Lord of the whole universe, Dhruva Maharaj actually became extremely heavy. He became extremely heavy because the Lord was in his heart. Simply by the tip of his toe, the earth could feel, or the whole universe, right, could feel the burden, the heavy weight. She couldn't bear it. And then the demigods, they ran to the Lord, please save us, what's happening, right? Everything is losing balance. So like that, when the Lord enters into the heart of a devotee, that devotee becomes very powerful, extraordinarily powerful, just like the Lord. So similarly, here the Lord has such effulgence, and he entered into the heart of Vasudeva. So now Vasudeva was emanating that effulgence. So nobody was able to approach him. Not just Kamsa, enemies like Kamsa, but even ordinary people. Nobody was able to approach him because of that effulgence. And they couldn't observe his activities because they're not able to approach him, they're not able to see him, they couldn't see his activities. And everyone was struck with wonder, especially his enemies. Durasado tidur dharshaha. Right? They were wonderstruck. What is this? Seeing the effulgence of Vasudeva, they were wonderstruck. Right? Ati durdharshaha. It's so difficult to approach him. And durasada means durasa. Durasadaha. Very difficult to even look at. Difficult by sensory perception. Okay? Couldn't approach him. Durasada, Durdarsha. Then what is Paurusham Dharma? It is commented by different acharyas in different ways. Srila Veera Raghava Acharya is saying Paurusham Dharma means effulgence. Dharma means effulgence. The Lord's Paurusham is Krishna, Supreme Person. Dharma means his effulgence. So Vasudeva was holding the effulgence, Krishna with his effulgence in his heart. Then Vijayadhwaja, Srila Vijayadhwaja Acharya says that this is Vishnu Tejas. Dharma means Vishnu Tejas. Similar, effulgence, right? Sukadev Goswami says Dharma means Bhagavat Swarupa. This we read in Bhagavad Gita also, right? When Arjun says Param Parabrahma, Param Dharma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, their Dharma is translated by Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur as the above. What is it said here? Dharma? The Bhagavat Swarupa. Bhagavat Swarupa. So here Sukadev Goswami is saying the form of the Lord. Dharma means the form of the Lord. One meaning is abode or his home, but another meaning is the form. Param Dharma. Bhagavat Swarupa. Okay. So again, Vasudeva is holding the form of the Lord in his heart. And Srila Sanatana Goswami is saying effulgence. Okay. So the point is, by holding the Lord who is super effulgent, Vasudeva is also very effulgent. So effulgent that nobody could even look at him. Tato jaganmangalam acyutamsam samahitam shurasutena Devi dadhara sarvatmakam atmabhutam kashtha yathanandakaram manastah. Okay. Maybe it was the previous verse, but anyway, we'll read this and then I'll explain it in this. whose turn is it now? Rasapriya read. So Usha Mataji is here. Huh? Isha is here. Oh yeah, Isha, go ahead. Translation.
Thereafter, accompanied by pleading expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon.
Yeah. So let me first explain uh, according to Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur, and then we will read the purport. Okay. So then you can connect. Tato Jaganmangalam Achyutamsam. Achyuta Amsham. This is important. Achyuta Amsham means whose amshas are Achyuta. Okay. Achyuta. Now, Chuta means one who falls down. Falls down in the sense one who can come under the control of Maya. That is Chuta. Achyuta means one who can never be controlled by Maya, one who never comes under the control of Maya. That's what falling down means. So, Achyuta Amsham means it's like this. Achyuta means one who doesn't fall. Amsha means expansion, swamshas, like amsha, parts and parcels, or expansions. The Lord whose expansions never fall down. Who is that? That is Krishna. So this is a particular way of Sanskrit grammar where you say two things, just like Pita Ambara. Pita means yellow, Ambara means cloth. Pita Ambara means yellow cloth, but actually the meaning of Pitambara is neither yellow nor cloth. Pitambara is said to signify to indicate Krishna, like that. So Achyuta Amsha, Achyuta means one who does not fall. Amsha means whose expansions. Achyuta Amsha means expansions that don't fall down. Who is that? Achyutamsha is the name of Krishna. Achyutamsha. That means his amshas don't fall. Or if you say Chuta Amsha means one whose amshas fall down. So here Krishna's amshas with whom he entered Vasudeva's heart, they never fall down. Achyutamsha. Okay, that's one word. So Tato Jaganmangalam. Jaganmangalam means, of course, for the auspiciousness of the whole universe. Samahitam Shura Sutena Devi. Who is Shura Suta? Shura means Shurasena. Shura Suta means Shurasena's son. Who is that? Who is Shurasena's son? Shurasena's son? Who is Shurasena?
Ugrasena, Mataji.
Shurasena. Surasena or Shurasena. Sura.
Shurasena's son is Ugrasena?
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
Shurasena. So Shura Suta means the son of Shurasena means Vasudeva, and Devi means Devaki. Devi. So
I'm sorry. Yes.
yeah. Shura Suta is Vasudeva and Devi means Devaki. So Achyutamsam. Tato Jagan Mangalam Achyutamsam Samahitam. Right? Where did he come? Where did he enter? Shura Sutena Devi. Right? So from the mind of Shura Suta or Vasudeva, he entered into the mind of Devaki. Dadhara sarvatmakam atma bhutam. Okay, sarva atma kam. So sarva atma means all living entities. That's sarva atma. But here it means the mind. Atma is taken as the mind. Okay, atma. And kam means happiness. Okay, so sarva means all living entities. Atma means mind or their hearts. You can say their minds or hearts. So who is the mind of all living entities? Who is the mind of all living entities? That is Lord Shiva, it is said. Okay, the heart of all living entities is Lord Shiva. And kam means happiness. So, one who gives happiness to Lord Shiva. That's what this word means. Sarvatmakam. Okay. Atma bhutam kashta yathananda karam manastah. Okay. Oops, sorry. Atma bhutam means the cause of all causes. Kashta. And how he appeared? The way the moon arises on the eastern side. Kashta means east, and Anandakaram. Anandakaram means the blissful one. Who is that? Moon. So the way the moon arises on the eastern side, similarly, acyutamsam, that means Krishna, entered from the mind of Shurasena to the mind of Devaki. Why? Also no, not why. Same, like these are different um, adjectives for Krishna. Achyutamsham is Krishna, and also he is Atma Bhutam. Atma Bhutam means he is the cause of all causes. Okay, he is Atma Bhutam, the cause of all causes. He is Sarvatmakam. Sarvatmakam means the one who gives happiness to Lord Shiva. Okay, Sarvatmakam means the one who gives happiness to Lord Shiva. And Dadhara. So Dadhara means is carried from where? From Vasudeva's mind to Devaki's mind is actually he entered, not carried here, he entered. How he entered? The way the moon arises on the eastern side, in the same way the Lord entered the mind. From the mind of Vasudeva, he entered into the mind of Devaki. Okay. So the important thing that we have to note here is that he entered out of his own sweet will. For us, we are put into, right, the womb of a particular mother by higher authorities. That's not the case with the Lord. And even more, when the Lord enters the heart, you may say, the yogis who follow Ashtanga Yoga, they follow yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, dharana, and samadhi. So by following this, by controlling their senses, by controlling their mind and focusing the mind, meditating on Paramatma, ultimately they hold the Lord in their heart by their effort. They actually literally, like they endeavor very hard to bring the Lord into their heart. Is this how Vasudeva is holding the Lord in his heart? And is this how Devaki is holding the Lord in her heart? No, it's not like that. It's not that they are endeavoring and pulling the Lord to come. No. The Devaki and Vasudeva's heart, the Lord naturally out of his own free will, he entered the way the moon arises out of its own accord on the eastern side. In that way, Lord Krishna appeared or entered in the mind of Vasudeva, and from Vasudeva's mind he entered the mind of Devaki. Okay, now let's read the purport and you can connect. Purport, first paragraph. Krishna, Ashish, Madhava are there? Oh, she left. Okay. So then, okay, she's here. Is Krishna, Ashish, Madhava going to read?
As indicated here by the word manastah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was transferred from the core of Vasudeva's mind, or heart, to the core of the heart of Devaki. We should note carefully that the Lord was transferred to Devaki not by the ordinary way for a human being, but by Diksha, initiation. Thus, the importance of initiation is mentioned here. Unless one is initiated by the right person, who always carries within his heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot acquire the power to carry the Supreme Personality, the Supreme Godhead, within the core of one's own heart.
Thank you. So this is another important. So that is why various acharyas give from different angles they explain. So what is another significance here of Krishna being transferred from Vasudeva's mind to Devaki's mind? Vasudeva is the spiritual master. When we get Diksha, when we get initiation from the spiritual master chants the mantra in our ears. And then Srila Prabhupada also gives the example of, when a man is potent, then the woman becomes pregnant. If the man is not potent, there is no pregnancy. That means if the spiritual master is actually carrying Krishna in his heart, like Vasudeva, then when he initiates a disciple, he can actually, he can actually transfer the Lord to the heart of his disciple. If he himself is carrying the Lord in his heart, only then will he be able to actually spiritually benefit the disciple. But if he does not have that potency, if he does not have the Lord in his heart, then there's no use of that initiation. That's the point. So here Vasudeva is compared to the spiritual master and Devaki is compared to the disciple. And from the spiritual master, by getting mantra diksha, initiation, the disciple is now made qualified to receive the Lord in his heart also. Of course, the seed is sown, but then for you to actually realize the Lord, now you have to start cultivating, right? Watering and all that, protecting from the weeds, like that. And then one day the fruit will come. That's when that fruit is the fruit of love of Godhead. When you have love, then you can actually see the Lord, like that. But the seed is given by the spiritual master. So it is essential. Without spiritual master, it is not possible. And also the spiritual master, we need a living spiritual master. We need a living spiritual master. That's also essential. I think I told once, it came in one purport where we were listening to a lecture in of Jananivas Prabhu in Mayapur, and it is said that to think that you can get initiate, you need a living spiritual master. That was a line that said. And to consider that without a spiritual master you will become Krishna conscious, that is hallucination. So then I asked, when he was asking for questions in the end, I said, what does it mean, living spiritual master? What about, is it even possible for someone to take initiation from a guru who is not living at present? Is it possible? Like previous acharyas, is it possible to get, sometimes we hear even, some devotees say that I'm initiated by Krishna directly. Krishna is my guru, right? Or some devotees say that Srila Prabhupada is my guru. I took in, that means I will not take initiation from anyone else because I have already taken initiation from Srila Prabhupada. And no one else is qualified in the present time who can give initiation, like that. Sometimes they say that. So I actually had that question, is it even possible like that? So Prabhuji waited for some time, he meditated for some time, and then he said, it is possible if he told you, if he actually told you that he's accepting you as his disciple. It can be in any way, like he can come in a dream, or you can have a darshan of him. Srila Prabhupada comes and tells you that. So the procedure of initiation is the disciple has to approach the spiritual master and beg for initiation. Without the disciples asking, the spiritual master will give initiation. No, that's not the system. Then how you will have that submissive attitude? You have to ask him. And for you to ask him, you have to see him. He has to hear you. And then you have to get confirmation from him that, yes, I have accepted you. So how will this happen unless there is a living guru in front of you? Right? So it is not just a sentiment that you just keep the picture and then you say, don't quote Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's sannyas initiation. One thing is, he was already initiated by Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He was initiated by Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He got his initiation. But sannyas, when he took sannyas, in those days they didn't have sannyas diksha. They were simply following Babaji Vesha. There was no brahmachari ashram, there was no sannyas ashram in the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a grihastha and then he directly took Babaji Vesh. Babaji Vesh means you have already, that is actually the definition. Babaji means like the 6 Goswamis, they were Babajis. Babaji means you are beyond all ashrams and varnas. You are neither Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. That is Babaji. And Babaji means you have already entered into pure devotional service. You have given up all duties in this world. That means you got full Shraddha and you're doing pure devotional service. That's what it means, Babaji means. But who can become a Babaji? One who has gotten full Shraddha and 24 hours is only doing direct devotional service, he becomes a Babaji. If you don't have that, then you remain at home. So there were no other ashrams in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya at that time, during that time. But what happened was, everyone would give up their homes and go to Vrindavan to become Babajis without getting full Shraddha. That means you still have so many material desires, but let's say you have a fight with your wife at home, you're angry, and then you just leave home and you go to Vrindavan. Now I'll become a Babaji. Just because you are upset with your wife, does it mean you got full Shraddha and Bhakti? No. So you are angry and you went there and you became a Babaji, but you didn't get that type of faith in Bhakti. So what will happen? Either you'll come back after becoming Babaji to live, or you will, because your desires are still there in the heart. So you'll become a Jagat Vanchaka. Jagat Vanchaka means a cheater. Wearing the dress of a renunciate, wearing the dress of a Babaji, they would have all illicit relations with so many women. They will be smoking ganja, so on and so forth. And this continued for centuries. So much so that educated people in society would consider, as soon as they would hear the name of a Vaishnava, because Vaishnava means, Gaudiya Vaishnavas means Babajis, right? And Babajis means they're doing all types of nonsense. So as soon as they heard the name Babaji, they would think it is a gali, right? It's an insult. If you were to insult someone, they would say, you Babaji. Like, instead of saying you rascal, they would say you Babaji. The value, the position of Vaishnavas was fallen so much because of all this corruption. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he instructed Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. People are not qualified for Babaji at present. First of all, they have to learn to follow dharma. First, become human beings. Be human beings first before being a pure devotee. Follow dharma. So, dharma means immediately there is varnashram dharma. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that was not introduced immediately. What was introduced was in the temples, Brahmachari ashram and Sannyas ashram was immediately introduced. Who introduced this? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Why? Because the whole Vaishnav community had become so corrupt. Now, there were no sannyasis. He had to take sannyas to start the sannyas ashram in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because wherever you take initiation, you will be considered to belong to their particular school. So we needed sannyasis in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's line. How to take sannyas? His Guru Maharaj, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj had already left. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what did he do? He put the picture of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and then he took sannyas in front of from his Guru Maharaj in taking his picture. Why? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj had no other disciples. His only disciple was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur had already left. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj had also already left. And most others in society who were going in the name of Vaishnavas were corrupt. And so many apasampradayas had come up in the name of Vaishnavism. So many apasampradayas. So to raise the standard of Vaishnavas once again to the level that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his immediate disciples had actually set, and seeing that people are not qualified for Babaji Vesh at present, teach them dharma. Follow the rules and regulations of your particular ashram first before giving up everything. That's why he had to start. And under those circumstances, he accepted a spiritual master that way because he didn't have any other options at that time. Now, imitating Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, now if somebody says, I will keep the picture of one Acharya and I will take Diksha directly, and then I will also initiate others in the sense, it's the Acharya initiating, I am the one who's officiating in the middle. This is not right. This is not right. This is not right. Anyway, so a living guru is required for taking Diksha. That is the procedure of Diksha. Because the whole point is the guru should know you. You should accept the guru and the guru should know that, and the guru must also accept you. Mutual understanding. Both have to accept each other, just like in marriage, right? Both have to accept, then there is marriage. Like that. So initiation means the guru should accept you as his disciple. It's not an ordinary thing. It's even more serious than marriage actually. Right? He's taking responsibility completely of your spiritual life, accepting all your karma and everything. Not all your karma, but a major portion is accepting to help you, to give you that initial boost so that you can start practicing bhakti. So that is essential. So this is the initiation process. So who can initiate? Unless he is carrying Krishna himself, how he can initiate another person? No. You cannot initiate. If you are initiating means you should carry Krishna and you will be able to pass on Krishna to the other person. Because Krishna is controlled by his pure devotees. And then when a devotee gives mercy to another, then Krishna's mercy will follow. Because Krishna is already sold out to this devotee And this devotee, when he initiates someone, because this devotee wants to initiate someone, Krishna will actually go there because he's controlled by the love of this devotee. That's the philosophy. Anyway, so here from Vasudev's heart, Krishna is went to Devaki's heart is compared to the spiritual master initiating the disciple. Next paragraph. Madhava, you're going to read? They're not there. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so next, Neelambari Radha Mataji. Actually, sorry, Sonia Mataji. Sorry, Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The word acyutamsam.
The word acyutamsam is used because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Shad
Aishwarya Purna.
Shad Aishwarya Purna, full in the opulences of wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. The Supreme Godhead is never separated from his personal opulences, as stated in Dhamma Samhita 5.39. Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishthan. The Lord is always situated with all his plenary expansions such as Rama, Nrisimha, and Varaha. Therefore, the word Achyutamsam is specifically used here, signifying that the Lord is always present with his plenary expansions and opulences. There is no need to think of Lord artificially as yogis do. Dhyana
Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginah. Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 13, Text 1.
Yogis meditate upon the Supreme Person within the mind. For a devotee, however, the Lord is present and his presence need only be awakened through initiation by a bona fide spiritual master. The Lord did not need to live within the womb of Devaki, for his presence within the core of her heart was sufficient to carry him. One is here forbidden to think that Krishna was begotten by Vasudeva within the womb of Devaki and that she carried the child within her womb.
Yes. So the child was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to Devaki, and even more clearly it is being explained. Krishna is present already. He just has to be awakened, right? He just awakened means he'll be awakened to you, to that person. It's not that he's sleeping until now. It's just that you are not conscious. Remember that fruit eating bird, like two birds on a branch. One is eating fruit and the other one is witnessing. That witnessing bird is normally Paramatma. But Paramatma is there in the heart. But Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, is also there in everything. Krishna is also there. Because everything is actually coming from him. But you may not think like he's like a servant, he's just waiting and sitting there. No. When you perform devotional service, by that devotional service, ye yathamam prapadyante, then he becomes awakened to you. But as long as you don't perform devotional service, you don't see him. He's naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritah mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajamavyayam. Right? Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritah. So, to everyone, their vision will be covered by Yogamaya. Even if Krishna is present right there, they cannot see him. They won't be able to see him. That's the point. But when you become a devotee, when you start rendering devotional service, then that veil of Yogamaya will be lifted and you will be able to see Krishna. So Krishna is there. This is for devotees, right? It's not like you have. Then what is the procedure? Even for you to perform that bhakti, what do you need first? You need initiation. Yesterday we discussed elaborately. The mercy of the spiritual master is essential. Until and unless you get the mercy of the spiritual master, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Because he's the one who's carrying Krishna, isn't it? Carrying Krishna means he has that love for Krishna. He has that bhakti in his heart. And Krishna is subservient to his bhakti. So then Krishna becomes subservient to that love. And wherever this devotee wants to give his mercy, Krishna will go there. Or go there means he'll be awakened there for that devotee. He will be awakened there for that devotee by the mercy of this spiritual master. So we may not imagine like physically being transferred. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying, isn't it? That Krishna is already there everywhere, but the procedure to awaken him is this diksha, initiation. It's very important. Unless that happens, Krishna will not be awakened in anyone's heart. Okay. And of course, acyutamsam we discussed already. Achyuta means one who does not fall, right? Amsas. So the Lord's amsas are all, they are not material, they are transcendental. So that same point is being said here, right? He's present with his personal opulences, they're all transcendental. Aishwaryasya, Viryasya, Yashasa, Shriya. Jnana, Vairagya. This also we discussed. So this is not like the yogis. It's not like the yogis holding the Lord. This is different for the devotees, right? So the Lord is coming out of his own free will. Why he is coming? Because of the love of that spiritual master. Then Krishna will come. And of course, again and again, this point is being said. We shouldn't imagine that Krishna was transferred, from the semen of Vasudeva to the womb of Devaki. It's not like that. Okay. Next paragraph. So Nilambari Mataji, can you read?
Yes, Mataji.
When Vasudeva was this.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
When Vasudeva was sustaining the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like the glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord, situated in a pure, unalloyed heart of Vasudeva, is not different from the original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere, and especially within the heart, is called dharma. Dharma refers not only to Krishna's form, but to his name, his form, his quality, and his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifest simultaneously.
You can read the next line also, Mataji. It's just one line.
Okay. Thus, the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full potencies was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, exactly as the setting sun's rays are transferred to the full moon rising in the east. Thank you,
Okay, thank you. So Srila Prabhupada is saying it's like the sun's rays are transferred to the moon. So when the day ends, there is sunset and then the moon rises. That means the sun's light is transferred to the moon. So like that, Krishna, who is super effulgent, is transferred from Vasudeva's mind to Devaki's mind. Like that it is being explained. And the rest we had discussed already. So we'll continue reading. And next will be Narasimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu or Suvarnangi Mataji.
Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered the body of Devaki from body of Vasudeva. he was beyond the conditions of ordinary living entity. When Krishna is there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayana, and incarnations like Lord Narasimha and Varaha, are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without the second and cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of absolute truth, but because she was within the house of Kamsa, she looked just like a surpassed fire or like misused education. When a fire is covered by walls of a pot or is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge which does not benefit the people in general is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, thank you, Vasudeva.
Thank you.
So, Krishna entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva, more specifically from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, or from the heart of Vasudeva to the heart of Devaki. Okay, and one thing is, if we look at the verse, what is Devaki called? Acha. Sarvatmakam Atmabhutam. No, that's not the one. Maybe that's from the. Okay, so I'll just explain to you. I think that's from the commentary, the Sanskrit word. But Krishna is the shelter for all living beings, right? Krishna is the shelter for all living beings, or he is the shelter for all his expansions, for everything. He is the shelter for everything, both in the spiritual and material world. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. Right? Everything, both material and spiritual, is emanating from Krishna. That Krishna made Devaki his residence. Krishna, who is the shelter for everything, made Devaki his residence. Okay? So Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second. He is the cause of all creation. And that Krishna's residence was now Devaki. Okay. The next point is, so if somebody is holding Krishna, just now we saw about Vasudeva, there's so much. Krishna means he's like a sun, right? So much effulgence. Still, Devaki, her effulgence was not visible to everyone. Just one or two people who were close to her were able to see her effulgence. But in general, people couldn't see that. So how is that explained? Why it was not visible to everyone? Because Kamsa suppressed her. He kept her in this prison house. So people outside couldn't see her. So just like if there is a fire in the house, inside the house, or let's say there's a small fire or a lamp burning inside the house in a closed room, the light from that lamp will only illuminate that particular room. It will not illuminate the entire neighborhood, isn't it? So similarly, Devaki was carrying the Lord in her heart, and naturally, because the Lord is in her heart, she should have been completely effulgent, but this was not visible to everyone. It was only visible to a few people. Why? Because she was being suppressed by Kamsa. But what will happen? The fire is inside the house. Very soon, this fire will grow bigger, because that's the nature of fire. You know how forest fire starts? It starts as a small spark. Because of friction between bamboos, there's a small spark, and that eventually, in a very short time, grows into a blazing forest fire. So similarly, this small fire inside the house, very soon it will actually become so big, it will burn up the house, the very house in which that fire was suppressed before. It will just burn up, and then that fire will illuminate the entire neighborhood. Although at present it is kept contained inside, but it's just a matter of time when it will grow so big that it will burn up. Or Prabhupada gives the example of a pot in which the fire is kept. So it will burn up, and then that fire will be visible to everyone in the entire neighborhood. How to understand that in the context of Devaki? Devaki's prowess and her happiness, right, was suppressed by Kamsa by keeping her contained inside this prison house. But very soon, because of being suppressed, so who is he trying to suppress? What is he trying to suppress? The baby who is in Devaki. That is Kamsa's fear. He wants to kill that baby. That's why he has arrested Devaki. And that Lord is super effulgent. But right now he's in a contained situation, right? He's just contained by Kamsa. By Kamsa he's kept contained. But very soon, Devaki, who's being suppressed by Kamsa, will burn up Kamsa's palace. How she will burn up Kamsa's palace? By giving birth to the Lord. So now the Lord is in the form of a fire who is contained in a very small way that everyone outside is not able to see him. But very soon, because of being suppressed inside like that, Devaki will burn up Kamsa. How she will burn up Kamsa? By giving birth to Krishna. She's going to burn up Kamsa. Another analogy is, if someone has education but he does not use it, he does not give it to others. You don't use, just like, it's common sense, right? You study, let's say, law or something, even our shastras also, like I think many of us have done Bhakti Shastri. Let's say after doing Bhakti Shastri, you don't speak about it, you don't refer to it, and it's there, and some years have passed. Do you remember anything of that? Is it of any use to anyone if you're not actually studying and revising? And more importantly, you have to give it to others. You got it from someone, now you have to give it to others. But if you don't give it to others, what is the value of that education? What is the value of that education? Right? There is no value to it. In fact, it is said, if you don't actually use your education for the benefit of others, it can actually destroy you. How is that? Normally, people become proud. I have this much. But if you're not actually sharing it with others, that pride is going to kill you. You will become arrogant, and then, that your education, which you got, eventually that education is only going to destroy you. So another example Prabhuji is giving, in a cracked pot, if you hold some water for a long time, okay, normal pot, but you keep water without distributing for a long time, you keep, what will happen? The pot will form some cracks, and the water will leak out, and nobody will benefit from that water. Like that. Education. Even the person who put the water in the pot and he's just holding, that person also will not be able to benefit from that water. He won't be able to drink it. It's all gone. It's finished. Like that. So that's what is being said here also. So Devaki's being suppressed like this by Kamsa is like a person's learning, education that he got, but he is not spending it, he is not distributing to anyone. Then that learning which is not being distributed, it's actually going to destroy that person eventually. Like Devaki, who's being suppressed now, very soon by giving birth to Krishna, she's going to destroy Kamsa. Yes, Mataji. Example is from Bhagavatam by Sukadeva Goswami and commentary by Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur and explained by His Grace Venugopal Prabhu. I don't have no credit to take here. Okay. Just trying, actually, really struggling to, first of all, dharana, hold it, and then to speak, but trying. Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second. So that is finished. Fire example is also done, and education also. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty. That's the point. She's actually extremely beautiful now because she's carrying Krishna, but not everyone was able to see. In fact, most people couldn't see that. Just one or two people who were around her was able to see. So in this way, because of this, soon it resulted in her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, she'll give birth to the Supreme Lord. So I'll just read the last line. Commenting upon this verse, Sri Veera Raghavacharya writes, Vasudev Devaki Jatharayor. Jathara means the uterus or womb. Hridayor Bhagavataha Sambandhaha. Right? So, how the Lord appeared in the womb, actually he came to the heart. From Vasudev's heart to Devaki's heart to heart relationship. The Supreme Lord's entrance into the womb of Devaki from the heart of Vasudeva was a heart to heart relationship. It was not directly placed in the womb, but in the heart of Devaki. That has to be noted. That's a significant point which is being repeated again and again. Okay, so it's 7:59. Let us read Bhagavad Gita now. So the last person to read was Suvarnangi Mataji read. So tomorrow, if the kids are there, Surit Spurti and Narsim Leela Chaitan Prabhu can read. And Nilamri Radha Mataji read already. And if Priyanka Haripriya Mataji is here, she will read. If Mataji is not there, because I think she's away, she's not able to join for a few days. If she is not there, then Saujanya Mataji will read. Okay? So Suvarnangi Mataji finished reading. Narsimha Chaitan Prabhu, Surit Spurti. And if they are not there, then Priyanka Mataji. If Priyanka Mataji is also not there, then Saujanya Mataji. Let's read Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. So yesterday we started 240 nehabhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. We discussed it, but I didn't read the purport. I just told you that pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Here dharma means pure devotional service. That's what I was explaining. According to Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur, please repeat one more time. Nehabhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So here actually we were talking about Nishkam Karma in the previous verse. Nishkam Karma means you do your work without attachment to the results. By doing that, there will be no bondage for you, Krishna was saying. But Srila Visvanath Cakravarty Thakur says, after that verse, this verse is talking about pure devotional service. In this endeavor, what is that? Here dharma means pure devotional service. When one does pure devotional service after getting full Shraddha, even if he does a little bit of bhakti, and let's say for some reason he falls down because of offense or whatever little bit of advancement he has made, that is his property eternally. Nobody can take it away. So that example I gave you about, when someone drives on the car, in a car on the highway, he covers a certain distance, and then let's say he had a flat tire and he's stopped on the shoulder, but whatever distance he has covered, he's already covered. If his destination from home is 100 miles and if he has already covered 20 miles, now only 80 miles is remaining. He doesn't have to cover. Just because he's stopped now, it doesn't mean he has to start from home again. Like that, you start bhakti for whatever reason you stop. Wherever you have stopped, the distance that you covered, the bhakti that you have done, that result is yours eternally. There's no question of losing it at any time. You may stop because of offenses for the time being, and when you get the right opportunity, by the mercy of devotees, when you get sufficient suffering, right, you can get back on the track and start performing bhakti again, gradually, slowly. But the distance that you've covered or the bhakti that you have done, nobody can take it away from you. That's yours forever. Pratyavayo na vidyate. There is no loss or diminution. There's no coming down or what to speak of losing it altogether. No. But karma is like that. Karma, now you came to 10th grade, and let's say after 10th grade you gave up your body. Now when you take birth again, when you take birth, can you say now I will directly go to 11th grade? You cannot say that. Any karma, marriage also. Let's say there is a marriage ceremony going on and 3/4 of the ceremony happened, and finally that Mangal Sutra has to be tied. At that point, let's say something happened, some problem with dowry or whatever, and the boy without tying Mangal Sutra left. Can you say because 3/4 of the marriage is done, so that much result the girl should get of marriage? Karma's nature is, unless it is 100% complete, you don't get the result. Any karma you see, any karma, unless you completed 100%. If the passing mark is 60 for an exam, if you say I got 59, so you should give me credit for 59. Will you get credit for 59? No. 59 or 1 or 0, you are fail. Until and unless you get 60, you will not be considered as passed. Not that you failed with 59 marks, someone failed with 20 marks, so I am better than him, so I get a better advantage. Do you see that ever? Whether you get 58 or 41 or 1 or 0, you're all failed only. 100% result, karma. If you don't get 100%, you don't get any result. Not only do you not get any result, you will get penalty also. You don't get the result that you're expecting. On the contrary, you have to pay something in return, like a fine. This is karma. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Nehabhikrama nashosti. Nash, there is no destruction of that. It's your asset eternally. And pratyavayo na vidyate. And there is no, diminution that it will go down a little bit. No, it won't go down. Whatever bhakti you have done, it is yours eternally. So that is why we should all shoot for the rhinoceros, Prabhupada says, right? Because when you shoot for the rhinoceros, if you don't, it's very rare to catch a rhinoceros, right? To hunt for a rhinoceros, to actually find. So if you fail in hunting for the rhinoceros, what will people say? What do you expect? You can very easily say, rhinoceros is, who can hunt a rhinoceros? It's very rare. Nobody will find fault with you. But if you actually catch a rhinoceros, wow, you're glorified. My God, he got. So even if you fail, there is no problem. And if you win, what a glory. Bhakti is like that. Even if you fail, there is no problem. Actually, there is nothing called fail there. This example Srila Prabhupada gave about rhinoceros is about coming and preaching in America, right? Because America, people won't accept. How? Nobody ever ventured there before. You're going to preach? But Prabhupada said, I'll go to America. My god brothers went to Europe before and they failed and they came. So I want to go to a new ground and a difficult one. And if I fail there, what do you expect, right? It's a new ground. Nobody knows anything about Krishna, and it will not be taken, so seriously that you fail. What else would you expect? But if you actually win, my God, you actually were able to establish Krishna consciousness there like that. So Srila Prabhupada said, always shoot for the rhino, go for the big, you know. He was always like that, preaching to the Beatles and all the big shots. And if they take to Krishna consciousness, yadyad acharati sreshtas tattad evetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. One George Harrison became a devotee and he sang My Sweet Lord, and so many thousands became influenced and came to Krishna consciousness by one leader, right? One person. So that is why that's the strategy. So bhakti is also like that. Let me read purport today. Again, I'm talking. Purport. Activity in Krishna conscious. Actually, you people can take turns reading also, so that everyone will get a chance. So Narsimhalila Chaitanya Prabhu, Surit Spurti, if you are able to read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Read the first paragraph.
Activity and purport. Activity in Krishna consciousness, or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification, is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can the small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect. Even though not finished, the performer of such work is therefore not a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears the permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%.
Whereas
in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamala performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100%. By the grace of the Lord. This is a nice verse in the connection and in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17.
Okay, who will read next? Prabhuji or Spurti?
My dad, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17. Tyaktva swadharmam dharmam.
The meter is like this, Prabhuji. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer. Like that.
Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apakut pate tato yadi yatrakva vabdharam vabhadram abhut amuyakim ko vartapo apto bhajatam swadharmataha. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna conscious and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or, as the Christians say, what profit a man if he gain the whole world yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. So, Tyaktva Swadharmam, so the meaning of this verse is, like we were discussing yesterday, right? Some student or someone who joined the temple, and after joining the temple, that means he gave up his college and he joined the temple. And because he didn't get full Shraddha, after some days, he regretted, why I came to the temple. I was better off, going to college. So he just gave up everything and he went back. He gave up practicing Krishna consciousness and everything. He went back. So what is the loss? What is the loss on his part? You may say, oh, he lost those years, those few years when he could have actually made a career, and now he went back. But and what did he gain by coming to the temple? He didn't even complete. Like Arjun also asked, right, Krishna, that somebody who takes to this yoga and then he gives up, he's not able to complete the yoga, then he lost the material side and he lost spiritual side also. So he's like a riven cloud, dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka, like that. He neither was successful in material world nor was he able to become successful in the spiritual life. So he lost his time. He's a loser in both fields. Krishna says no, he's never a loser. One who does good, my friend, never meets with evil. Even this verse, nehabhikrama nasosti pratyavayo vidyate swalpamapyasya. Even little bit of bhakti that you do, it is never a loss. What is the loss? For to do this bhakti, you gave up some material prospects. So by losing the material prospects, you earned something in bhakti. Did you lose anything in reality? No, you didn't lose anything. You will get it again. In fact, you'll get more, much more, because the results that you get from bhakti are all auspicious. Bhakti can give you even material results. You will see, actually, right? Kleshagni Shubhada. Shubhada means you get so many material results from Shubhada. Everything auspicious comes to you. Even, like money, good relationships, so many things come. If you are actually doing bhakti nicely, that will also come. Of course, when they come, you should not try to enjoy them. That's another thing. Because if you enjoy those things that are coming from bhakti, then it's like give and take. That then you won't get prema, Krishna prema. If you want Krishna prema, you should reject all the material results that are coming from bhakti, all the recognition, all the wealth and profit and adoration, distinction, right? All the praise that you're getting because of your bhakti. If you start enjoying those things, then you won't get Krishna prema, because you're taking a cheap result, right? You're taking, okay, for my bhakti I'm getting this and I'm enjoying this, you won't get. But if you say, no, I don't want all this, you take. I don't want profit, I don't want fame, I don't want this, then you'll get Krishna prema ultimately. But the point is, bhakti can give you whatever you lost little bit by not doing karma that time. You're thinking I'm a big loser. You're not a loser at all. Bhakti can give you all that. If you're lamenting why I did bhakti in that time, I could have become a big, a president of the country, or maybe a governor, or a collector or something. I lost my opportunity. No, you didn't lose any opportunity. You'll get much more because of that little bhakti that you did. Just wait and watch. Nehabhikrama nasosti. There is no loss. That's the point. So from another verse, the same point is being said. Spurti is going to read.
No, Mataji.
Okay. So then Priyanka Mataji is not here. So Saujanya Mataji. Nice. Last. Everyone has read, I think.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. All goes to the devotees.
Dandavat pranam.
Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. All assured.
Yes. So if you have started, at least you'll get a human form of body. Unless you receive special mercy. You receive special mercy from the Lord, and you like Jad Bharat Maharaj, you become a deer or something. That is rare cases, and that happens because the Lord wants to intensify your bhakti, right? Or also, Krishna says, I take away everything from a person to whom I'm especially merciful. So if somebody qualifies for that, then those things may happen. But in general, if you have done some bhakti, then you are given opportunities to do bhakti again. Yeah. Only problem is if you are doing severe offenses. That also we discussed elaborately yesterday. If your offenses are severe, then it will take a while, right? But otherwise, because of material attraction, you left bhakti and you went away. It's not easy to go away from bhakti. Once you started, you will have to come back. You will have to come back. You will be given an opportunity. At least, Prabhupada says, you'll get a human form, and that too, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, that too you'll get birth in a Brahmana family or a wealthy family, where you don't have to struggle for existence, where your mind is not so tasked, simply for your maintenance, right? That there's no time to think about spiritual matters. It won't be like that, right? You don't have to worry about your maintenance and wealth and all that. And you can also get, if you're born in a Brahmana family, then right from childhood you will learn those samskaras. So you will certainly get an opportunity to progress further. So again, there's no loss. If you start bhakti, there's no loss. That's the point that's being driven here. I'll stop there. Let's read Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Did anyone not read today? Did anyone not read today? If everyone has read, I will read Leelamrita.
Sorry, Mataji. I didn't read, Mataji.
You didn't read, so you read, Mataji. Yes, thank you.
Yes, Mataji.
So start from July 11th. So last line, 1 second, I'll just go over. One evening, having completed all the legal groundwork and being ready to complete the procedures for incorporation, Mr. Goldsmith came to Prabhupada's lecture and kirtan. Okay, so they are incorporating ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. That's what is happening. Yes, Mataji. And then Narsimhalila Chaitanya Prabhu, you raised your hand. Spurti is going to read.
Mataji, I have a question on what you discussed.
Afterwards, Mataji, after Shri Radhe Mataji reads. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji. Shri Radhe Shavana Mataji.
July 11, Prabhupada is lecturing. Mr. Goldsmith, wearing slacks and a shirt and tie, sits on the floor near the door, listening earnestly to the lecture despite the distracting noises from the neighborhood. Prabhupada has been explaining how scholars misled innocent people with non-devotional interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. And now, in recognition of the attorney's respectable presence and as if to catch Mr. Goldsmith's attention better, he introduced him into the subject of the talk. I will give a practical example of how things are misinterpreted. Just like our president, Mr. Goldsmith, he knows that expert lawyers by interpretation can do so many things. When I was in Calcutta, there was a rent tax passed by the government, and some expert lawyer changed the whole thing by his interpretation. The government had to reenact a whole law because their purpose was foiled by interpretation of this lawyer. So we are not out for foiling the purpose of Krishna for which the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. But unauthorized persons are trying to foil the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, that is unauthorized.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Did anyone else not read? Everyone read? So we can stop there. Yes, Mataji. Suvarnangi Mataji. You wanted to ask something.
Mataji, I have a question. Like you mentioned that, like whatever we had in the previous birth, we would, like the person would start the devotional service here according to the verse nehabhikrama. This may be like not relevant, but I don't know. It may be basic question, Mataji, but I was trying to understand. You mentioned that once they perform devotional service, they will get birth as in the aristocratic or Brahmana family, right? So in that birth, there won't be any guarantee, right, Mataji? We will be in bhakti only because maybe because of all that opulence, we may get even diverted, right?
Correct. Actually, that was spoken in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where we are actually talking about Ashtanga yogis, anyone who follows yoga, Ashtanga yoga. But there, Arjun asked, what if someone falls down? Because this yoga process, mind control, sense control is so difficult. Unless he gets full perfection, then it's a long process. The yoga process is a long process. For so many years, all your life you're practicing, and you fall down. Then you didn't make any progress in material life, and you didn't even get liberation, moksha in the end. So you are lost. So Krishna says, no, you are not lost, because when you do yoga, so there are two conditions. First condition is, if someone has done little bit of yoga and he fell down and went back into material life. Why he went back into material life? Because he still had material attraction for enjoyment. So therefore he will actually go to heavenly planets. One, the person who followed yoga for a short time, and because of desire for sense gratification he fell down. That means he still had ultimately whatever bhavagrahi janardana, right? He sees what is your desire and that's what you get. So if you are sincerely desiring Krishna consciousness only, and by some accident or something, or some past samskara, something came up like Jad Bharat Maharaj, like that, if it happens by something, your desire, his desire was not sense gratification. Some reason, right? Acharyas give different reasons, two different reasons. But whatever reason, it happened like an accident. He was out to perform, and he was on the stage of bhava bhakti, very advanced stage of bhakti. So in his case, it's not that he needed to go to heavens to fulfill his material desire and then come back. That was not his case. But if somebody followed this yoga for a short time, many times it happens in our temples also. They just come to the temple, they stay sometimes even for a few days and they leave. Sometimes they stay for a week and they leave. And then they go back, no more following any rules, regulations, they just left. They just came for a short time. But even that short time, why they left? For material pleasure. So you'll get so much material pleasure. You'll go to the planets where pious living entities live, and for a long time you will get material pleasure. Why you are getting material pleasure? Because that was your desire in the first place. You are not really desiring pure unalloyed devotional service. Somehow or other you got interested immediately. You thought this is nice and you went there, and for some time, and then you thought, oh, it's too much for me, and you left. But whatever little you did, and your desire in the heart is you want to be a king and you want so much wealth, you'll get all that. You'll go to heavenly planets. But Shine Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti. Heavenly planets, nobody will live eternally. You have to come back. When he actually comes down to the material world, he won't become, because he exhausted all his credits, now he will become a poverty stricken man. No, he will take birth in human birth, that too in well to do family, some aristocratic family or some Brahmana family, he will take birth. So, yeah, the chances is he going to take to Krishna consciousness depends on what he's looking for there in that case. But the second case, someone who actually practiced yoga for a long time, like let's say Bharat Maharaj, in the last minute, just before getting perfection, he fell down. Then what is his destination? No wasting time anymore. He'll directly take birth in the family of a transcendentalist. Right from childhood, he'll be hearing, he'll be surrounded by yogis. If a devotee, he'll take birth in a devotee family. He will see from the beginning bowing down before Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna, all the devotee kids. That means they already practiced yoga, and not just little bit, they practiced a lot, and then for some reason they could not complete it, so they got birth in the family of devotees. So from here, it's very easy for them to pick up because they are surrounded by that. So that's the chance.
Okay. And how can we understand like one who is taking birth in a devotee family, but still they do not have that inclination towards, sometimes we see like one of the family members like becoming an atheist also, like.
Right. You're talking about children, someone taking birth in the family of devotees and the child becoming an atheist.
Yes.
How can we understand that? I mean, in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada says these children are not ordinary children. That means they're coming with very good samskaras, actually. So, if we can actually mold them, cultivate them properly, they have a very good chance of taking to devotional service because they already have those previous samskaras. But if we don't take care of that, if you don't keep them in the right association, uh, then at least temporarily for the time being, they are influenced by that association. Certainly, those samskaras will be there, just like a seed, let's say a bhindi seed. It has that capacity to produce a bhindi plant, and eventually, so many bhindi fruits will come. But if you don't put it in a proper soil and there's not sufficient light and there is not sufficient water, however nice seed it may be, it will become stunted. It has the capacity, but we didn't provide the proper conditions. So, then why he didn't get those conditions? So, there are so many factors there involved. There's your karma involved, that devotee's, that child's karma involved, why that child was put in your family, right? So, it's not just black and white when you consider karma. Pure devotional service means no karma. That's another thing. But all of us are now struggling, right? We are still aspiring to be devotees and still dealing with karma, right? And our anarthas, so many things we are dealing with. So, yeah. But in one situation, Prabhupada says, if in spite of taking birth in a devotee family, if the child is not becoming a devotee, then the parents are responsible for that. Blank statement. So we have to just take that responsibility on us. But Srila Prabhupada's children, they didn't take to directly Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj's son Virojana didn't become a devotee. He was a Rakshasa. But Hiranyakashipu's son became a devotee, right? So there are many factors there. And in some cases, like Acharyas, there is the Lord's hand also there. Uh, but yeah, it can be discussed at length why Acharya's children many times they don't become devotees. Especially for Srila Prabhupada, it is said that Srila Prabhupada is a world Acharya, right? And if his children had joined the temple like everyone else was joining, and he would treat them also like all the other devotees, then there would be a chance for others to point out at him that you're being partial to your son. Or if he's not being, then from the other side they will complain, what is this? You're not doing anything for yours. So to avoid all this, they just didn't come and join. So that was Krishna's arrangement. Like that I heard one Prabhupada disciple, speaking in a class. So that is for acharyas, but in general Prabhupada says, if the children, especially young children, if they are not taking to Krishna consciousness, then he says the parents are responsible. But even as parents, we can do the best we can. The best thing we can do is we can set the example for them. That's the best we can do. And many times it is seen when they are little children, they are very, very Krishna conscious, they like to do everything. When they start growing up, that's when, for a short time, maybe, right, uh, they are going through their phase, whatever that is, right? But this, the seed is already there. It will just come out at some point. The parents may or may not be there to see that. It may or may not happen in this lifetime also, but certainly the seed is there. It will manifest at some point. We may not be able to see it, but yeah, we only see, if it's a straight line, you're seeing, time between these two points, you're seeing what's happening. But actually, it started before and it's going to continue afterwards also. How much can we see? So the best we can do is whoever, right? Whether children or friends or family, we just keep broadcasting the seeds, right? And then the rest is someone else will take it forward from there, like that. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's end here. It's already 8:30. Thank you all so much. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji.